The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Tuesday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you as always by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. They go the extra mile for you, so you don't have to. Anthony Hartwig with you, and we try to go the extra mile as well, along with our wonderful sponsors by sharing those player profiles, coaches corners, all the wonderful people that we have in our communities, our school communities. We try to share those with you every single day. We're going to continue that trend today with a player profile. We're going to go back into Boardman lacrosse. We had them yesterday. We'll have another one today with Lacey Dre from Boardman girls lacrosse. We'll continue that trend, get them taken care of this week. So that'll be the player profile featured today. Going to be a great one too. It was a great interview with Miss Dre and the lacrosse team. And once again, Boardman does a great job setting those up. So what we're going to do first, though, like we always do, we're going to go into the scoreboard on ysnlive.com, pull it up, and see what was going on last night on Monday to start the week. The YSN scoreboard is presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. It is a great tool for the YSN fans, whether you are at one of the games or watching one of our broadcasts. Either way, you don't want to look away from the screen for too long, and the YSN scoreboard is a great and easy way to get live updated scores from your favorite teams across the YSN family. Whether you are your rivals or your best friends, either way, you can find them on ysnlive.com/scores, and it is once again presented by Burnett Pools, Spas, and Hot Tubs. Let's get to it. Monday on the baseball side of things, this is what the scoreboard looks like. Geneva is able to win over Edgewood. Another high-scoring affair. Edgewood has been getting into a lot of those recently. 11-8, the Eagles get the win. The Lions of Orange edge out Hawken, with a 5-4 win over them. Warren JFK meets up with Rootstown and wins 7-2. That's a big Portage County rivalry. Rootstown, a very quality team that's outside the YSN family, of course, but they're close enough that we see them a lot, so we can know with a pretty good certainty that that's a solid quality win inside Portage County for Warren JFK. Rootstown is a heck of a program, both baseball and softball, and to win the way they did last night, pretty solid win for Warren JFK. A pitcher's duel as Cardinal Mooney and Salem get together. Salem gets to win 2-1 in this one. We saw a champion lose to Newton Falls, 8-6 the final score in this one. That's a tough loss for the Flashes to open up an MVAC series. Crestview gets beat by LeBray, 10-0 the final score. Crestview is just on a little bit of a stumble right now. I mean, they had a lot of tough games last week. They were competitive in most of them. But this is another loss for the Rebels. They're trying to regather themselves. Had such a good first half of the season. But like baseball will tell you, it's a game of failure. It's a game of hills and valleys. And right now, Crestview trying to get themselves back up on their feet. But it's going to be tough against LeBray again tonight. 10-0, the final score last night in Leavittsburg. Heartland Christian was able to take care of Youngstown East in decisive fashion. 17-1, the final score there. East Palestine beats Southern Local 7-1. The final score on that side, inside the EOAC. Fairport Harding, no match for the Bombers. Look at that score. Talk about opening the Bombay doors. 27-1. Wyndham gets the win. Garrettsville Garfield all over Brookfield. 12-0, the final score there. Just an all-out good performance by the hitting and the pitching and defense from Garfield. Straight up domination. Same thing with Girard as they went to Niles and win by the same score, 12-0 over the Dragons. Austintown, Fitch, and Howland inside the AAC. Fitch is all over this one, 13-1 your final score. Ashtabula Lakeside able to win over Conneaut, 8-2 your final score there. And then Blackhawk edges Beaver Area 5-3. We have Lowville. They fall to McDonald 12-0, the final score for that one. And then a very interesting one. Poland came in with a 13-1 record, but Hubbard at home protects the nest against the Bulldogs, 6-3, the final score in this one. And that is one we will come back and definitely talk about when we get through the scoreboard. Like we always do, we go through the scores first. If you're joining us for the first time, go through all the scores, and then we'll circle back, break down some of these matchups, talk about some of the big performances from the night. Mohawk gets the win 10-8 over Shenango. Jackson Milton and Springfield doing battle in the MVAC Scarlet tier. Springfield gets the win 9-4. Back to the NE8 as Lakeview is able to take care of Struthers 10-0, the final score there. Pitchers duel in Columbiana as the Eagles fall 1-0 to the Clippers. South Range unable to take care of Ursuline 12-4. The Irish all over the Raiders in this one. It's a really good pitching staff that doesn't give up a lot of runs very often. So Ursuline bats were definitely seeing the ball well, and scoring 12 runs against South Range is not an easy thing to do. Waterloo all over Sebring in game one of their doubleheader, 24-2. The final score there. Middle Ridge gets the big win in the MVAC Scarlet tier over Western Reserve, 8-1. The final score there. Campbell is able to go to Liberty, and the Leopards get the win, 4-0. Final score. Louisville beats Boardman 13-9. The final score there. That was round two. The two teams met in Louisville last week as well, and Louisville gets that season sweep. Talking about season sweeps, Waterloo does it in one fell swoop over Sebring as they win game two 13-0 over the Trojans. Canfield holds off Warren Harding 9-3. The final score there on the road in Warren. And then Jefferson falls to Madison 13-1 to round out the baseball scores. So now let's reset and go to softball. We have Grand Valley. They were able to win over Middlefield Cardinal just barely, 9-8 the final score. Big win for the Mustangs. Edgewood gets the win over Conneaut, dominating fashion, 9-0 the final score there. Badger falls to Bristol 11-5, your final score in that one. A lot of scoring in Campbell as they beat East 21-18. Champion starts a doubleheader with Newton Falls. They win game one, 19-0. They win game two, 6-0. We're going to come back and circle on that because there are some really impressive numbers for the Champion offense in that game. Cardinal Mooney beats Cheney 6-3, the final score there. Crestview falls to LeBray 9-1, the final. East Liverpool and Wellsville did not report a score last night, unfortunately, but Southern did report a score, and they win 12-1 over East Palestine on the softball side. So Softball, baseball, they split that matchup with Southern winning on the softball diamond. Wyndham, just like the baseball team, takes care of Fairport Harding 23-3. Your final score there for the Bombers. We have Garfield beating Brookfield 7-1. The final. A lot of scoring in Gerard Niles as the Indians win 26-10. Feeling like a football score. Sydney Watts throws another no-hitter on her career as she wins. She and the Falcons win over Howland 15-0 in their first game of the AAC series. If Fitch wins tonight, they can clinch at least a share of the AAC, and they'll also be awaiting what Canfield does against Warren Harding tonight as well. Lisbon went to Latonia, got the win 13-1. This was also a no-hitter. Morgan Lively threw a no-hitter. The Latonia run was not on a hit, and it was also unearned, by the way. So 13-1, Lisbon gets the win. Morgan Lively gets the no-no. McDonald wins over Lowville 13-0, the final score here. And Hubbard makes it a clean sweep on baseball and softball as they beat Poland 6-5 and upset the Bulldogs. It's a big win for that Hubbard Eagles program. Ashtabula St. John falls to Pymatuning Valley 11-1, your final score there. Jackson Milton all over Springfield 18-3, the final in that one. Ursuline blasting Warren JFK 15-2. The offense was everywhere for the Irish in that one. Lakeview gets the win over Struthers on senior night 14-4, the final score there. Bulldogs over the Wildcats. Columbiana steadily but surely run rules united. They walked this off in 6. 10-0, the final score there. Waterloo beats Sebring 6-3, a close one for the Vikings in this one. Western Reserve beats Middle Ridge 6-1, the final score. Western Reserve is one win away from clinching at least a share of the MVAC Scarlet tier. Champion, as we said, won in Game 2 over Newton Falls 6-0, the final score in that one. That went 3 innings. The first game of the doubleheader went 4 innings, so they played a total of 7 innings of softball. Crestview falls to LeBray. They played twice as well. 12-1, the final score in Game 2. Warren Harding lost to Canfield 5-1, the final score there. Kaylee Ortiz was the pitcher. They gave Melina Toth the day off completely. She was not in the lineup. She did not pitch, and the Cardinals were still able to win 5-1. Louisville wins over West Branch 12-2, the final score in that one. Beaver beats falls to Ambridge, 11-10, your final there. Hoban wins against Akron St. Vincent St. Mary down at Firestone Stadium in Akron, 4-1, the final score. And then last but not least, Mohawk able to beat Beaver Falls 8-1. So now let's circle back, talk about some of these games, some of the big ones of the night, and go over the stats and how these games broke down. We'll go back up to baseball. First game I want to talk about is the JFK game against Rootstown. Like I said, Rootstown, a very good, solid opponent for JFK. We know that Rootstown is a quality program on both baseball and softball, so this is a pretty impressive win for the Eagles. They'll play Rootstown again tonight as well at home. So here's the box score for JFK. I mean, Michael Condolian had a big game, 2 for 4 with 2 RBI. He was the only player in the lineup to have multiple RBI on the day. The rest of the runs were pretty spread out. Carfangia got an RBI. How about this? Caleb Hadley was perfect on the day. 3 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs scored. They did not retire him. It's pretty hard to retire. He got an RBI from Lapola. Andrew Lapola, who went 2 for 3 with an RBI, 2 runs scored. And then he had an RBI as well off the bench in a pinch hitting situation, which is pretty impressive. when you come off the bench. That was, sorry, I lost the box score. That was Trevin Rink that got the RBI off the bench as a pinch hitter. So that was the offense for JFK, and then the pitching did a pretty good job against Rootstown as well. Is Gene Rischel went all 7 innings, gave up just 3 hits, no earned runs, 7 strikeouts, 2 walks. I think 7 and 2 would be a great strikeout to walk ratio that any coach would take any day of the week. So a good balanced offense for Warren JFK is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different hitters knocked in runs. They had 7 runs on 11 hits, 2 errors. Rootstown had 2 runs on 3 hits, 1 error. Rootstown actually took a lead too in the first, 2-0 after 1. JFK tied it in the second and then took the lead in the third, never looked back from that point on. So just a good all-around game from JFK. I wanted to also talk about this Salem Mooney game because it was a very good pitcher's duel. 2-1 the final score. Salem gets the win. And you look at how this game kind of broke down. Salem had 1 run in the first. Cardinal Mooney tied up in the 5th, and then in the bottom of the 7th, it is a walk-off for Salem as Keegan Somers hits the walk-off single to give the Quakers a 2-1 win over Mooney. Final box score, 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for the Quakers, 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for the Cardinals. That was Somers' first hit of the day. He was 1 for 3 with 1 RBI. Just 1 RBI for Salem. That was it. That was the only RBI of the day. Multiple hits for Carson Rhodes, who went 2 for 3 with a run scored. The other run scored from Troy Gibson, got the other run. And pitching-wise, which is the highlight of this day, Kyle Burt got the win, went 6 innings. I'm sorry, Cardinal got the win. I don't know why it says Cardinal Mooney on the scoreboard. That messed me up. It's Middlefield Cardinal. They got the win. I was totally mixed up in the box score. They got the win 2-1. Huh. No, that was Saturday. I accidentally clicked the Cardinal and Cardinal Mooney. My bad. It was the same score. Human error. That is all human error. So we go back to Salem walked it off in the bottom of the 7th. I was so confused there for a minute. Yeah, they walked it off. So pitching for the Quakers in this one was Marshall Boren, and he went 7 innings, gave up 4 hits, 1 run. It wasn't earned, struck out 1, walked 2. Then you go in the Mooney's box score. They only had 4 hits. 3 of them came from Caden Reese, who went 3 for 4 on the day with a run scored. The other hit came from Otis, who went 1 for 4. Pitching for the Cardinals, Otis as well. He took the loss, tough luck loss. Ben Otis went 6 2/3 innings, gave up 5 hits, 2 runs. 1 of them was earned. He had more strikeouts, 6 of them. Only walked 1, but didn't matter. This pitcher's duel came down to the 7th inning, and it was a walk-off base hit from Keegan Somers, singled to right field, and Gibson scored the winning run. So that was it. That was a heck of a game. A heck of a game for both teams, and you can't ask for anything more than a walk-off in the 7th. That's a heck of a way to start off the week on YSN, and you were able to see it on YSN. Derek Rhodes and DJ Oakley both on the call for that one. I want to scroll down and also hit this Hubbard victory over Poland. This was a huge victory for the Eagles because Poland came in obviously leading the conference with that 13-2 record, just one loss inside the NE8 to this point. It was to South Range earlier in the year. And Hubbard's been a quality team all season. A little bit of a consistency issue, but still very good. 12-9 on the year. And they've shown that they can beat the big teams. And they did that last night. They scored 4 runs in the bottom of the 5th. That was the big inning for Hubbard. It was tied at 1 after 3, and then Poland took the lead 3-1 and the top of the 5th, and then Hubbard answered with 4 runs in the bottom. So that was definitely the bulk of the scoring happening in that 5th inning. For the Eagles, Braden Songer went 2 for 3 with 2 RBI and a run scored. He was the biggest bat in the lineup. In fact, the only player that had multiple hits for Hubbard. They did get 2 RBI from Gabe Rusnak, who went 1 for 3 on the day. And they also had RBIs from Tyler Wright and Johnny Reyes, who both went 1 for 3 with an RBI as well. Wright was able to walk. Then you look at the pitching for Hubbard. It was Wright that got the win. He went 4 2/3 inning. I'm sorry, actually Songer got the win. But Wright got the start. He went 4 2/3, gave up 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 runs total, struck out 6, walked 4. And then Songer came in, pitched the last 2 1/3, gave up just 1 hit, struck out 4, and he was charged the victory for the Eagles. For Poland, tough one to handle. Looking at their offense, it was Matt Paparotis that led the charge. He went 2 for 4 with a run scored. 2 RBIs from Jacob Hayes. He went 2 for 4 with 2 RBI. And those are the only 2 RBI in the lineup for Poland. Those 2 were also the only 2 with multiple hits. They had 1 hit from DeLulo. And that was their only other hit of the day. So they had 5 hits total, 2 of them apiece from Paparotis and Hayes. And that was pretty much it for their offense. Hubbard's pitching did a really good job. Only 1 earned run out of their 3 scored. That's how you step up for your team. So Hubbard, a big victory over Poland. They'll play them again tonight at Poland. And it would be really big if they were able to sweep the Bulldogs in an E8 play. We go to softball now. A couple games to talk about. We will start with this whole champion thing that happened last night. I know you're sitting there going, why are you talking about a doubleheader? The champion was able to obviously dominate 19-0, 16 to 19-0, 6-0 in 7 total innings played. But when you look at these numbers, just have to be called out because it's something, especially for 2 of the players, Gabby Gradishar, Adi Warzela. Here's their night. So Gabby Gradishar on the night, both games combined, went 4 for 4. All 4 of her hits were home runs. Adi Warzela went 5 for 6, 3 home runs and a double. Bella Meyer went 4 for 6 on the night in a double. Zoe Paulette went 4 for 5. Sam Strock went 3 for 5. But 4 for 4 home runs. Gradishar pitched both games. Both of them were perfect games. Didn't give up a single hit. Didn't walk anybody. No errors on the defense. It was, they were just getting back to action, right? They had a tough week into the week last week, losing to Fitch by 1, a 1-0 battle, losing to Whitmer by 1. Both of the games that Gabby Gradishar pitched. Then they lost to Steele, where Gradishar didn't pitch, 11-1. So it was a bruised and battered team, and they were getting back into league play, and they just kind of put their foot right back on the gas pedal and said, all we can do is truck forward, right? And that's what they did. And then this team is going to learn from those losses. They're going to hopefully, for their sake, take them into the tournament because this Division III district and regional and state, no matter what level you get to. If you get past the districts, regionals get really hard. If you get through regionals, then you have Wheelersburg sitting there in the state semifinals, probably waiting on you, or state championship. They'll probably be on the opposite end of the state bracket this time around. They like to flip those, so maybe state championship. But either way, Wheelersburg looms in Firestone, probably, unless something really crazy happens, which can. It's softball. It's one and done. It's a fickle sport. But Champion, just getting right back to what Champion does, and that's dominate the MVAC. I just had to call out because not very often do you see a girl have 4 hits in the night, all 4 of them being home runs. It's just it's remarkable what she's able to do. At some point, you just be like, you know what? Let's just not pitch to her. But that decision was never made, and she took full advantage of that. One of the other games I want to talk about on the softball side, same as the baseball, Hubbard versus Poland. Hubbard gets the big win over the Bulldogs on the softball side as well. Want to give a shout out to their team because what a big win for that program, who is now at the 500 mark. That was their 8th win of the year, so they got back to 8-8. And here's their final line. Phoebe Rusnak had a big day at the top of the order, went 2 for 4 with 2 RBI and a run scored. Haley Taylor was 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. Lauren Komarak was 2 for 3 with a home run, 3 RBI and a run scored. So that top 3 of the lineup combined for 6 RBI on the day. The only 6 RBI, obviously, in a 6-5 win. They also got two hits from Ashley Masluck, who went 2 for 3. I was thinking Springfield Malatok. I don't know why that program was on my mind, but 2 for 3 on the day for Masluck, who went with a run scored as well. Pitching, Phoebe Rusnak went 4 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, struck out 1, and then Keely Schultz came in the rest of the day, pitched 3 innings, gave up just 2 hits, 1 earned run, struck out 2. For Poland's offense, Mary Brandt went 3 for 4 with a RBI and a run scored. Leanna Bocheri went 2 for 4 with an RBI, and then the other RBI for Poland came from Olivia Horn. She had 1. Lily McDonald had 2 on a 1 for 4 day. Horn picked up the loss for Poland. She went 3 2/3, gave up 9 hits, 5 earned runs, struck out 2, walked 1. McDonald came in relief, gave up just 1 run on 1 hit on 2 1/3 innings pitched. So a big offensive day for Hubbard, and the pitching did enough. The final line for both teams, Poland had 5 runs on 12 hits and no errors. Hubbard had 6 runs on 10 hits, no errors. So Hubbard just took advantage of a little bit more scoring opportunities. They had a 2-0 lead after 2, a 3-1 lead after 3, and then a 5-3 lead after 5. Poland made it 5-4. Hubbard made it 6-4. Poland scored 1 run in the 7th, but couldn't get the final run across. Last out of the game was McDonald. They were able to get her to fly out on a 2-0 count to center field to end the game. Hubbard and Poland are going to play tonight at Poland for round 2 of that one in the inning 8. All right, next one we got to talk about the game that I was at, the game that I can talk a little bit more intelligently about because I was able to see everything. Columbiana and United. Columbiana wins 10-0, and I was saying this. Scotty Mentor joined me on the broadcast, by the way, so if you get a chance to go watch it back, please do because he did a really good job, and that was his softball debut as a broadcaster, and gotta love Scotty. He'll be with us tomorrow on the show. 10-0 the final score, but this was a very competitive run rule win. As crazy as it sounds. The difference was pretty simple in this game. When Columbiana had opportunities to score, they got the timely hits. United did not. There were 4 straight innings where United had runners in scoring position with 1 out. And every time Columbiana and Mackenzie Gamble wiggled themselves right out of it, didn't give up a run. So United just was missing that timely hit. They could not get it. There were a couple of big plays. The biggest play of the day was the first time they had runners on second and third. Probably the momentum play, too. Who knows if this really changed the mentality of United going forward, but it was still a close game. I believe 4-0, if I'm not mistaken. United has runners on second and third, 1 out. They have Sam Lippiott at the plate, who is their best hitter statistically. And Perkins tries to pick off the runner at third. The throw goes into the left field, and then the runner at third goes, right? They're trying to score. But Caitlin Pleska does a really good job covering, gets it before it goes too far into the grass, and then throws a dart to home and gets the out of home. So all of a sudden, 2 outs for United with a runner on third, and then they get Sam Lippiott to pop out. So that was the big start of wiggling out of damage. The next 3 consecutive innings, United once again put runners in scoring position. They had their opportunities to really make this a game. They just could not get that timely hit. Timely hits are so important. It doesn't matter how many hits you have, how many times you get on base. If you can't get that hit when you need it the most, it erases it. And that's what happened. United never got the hit when they needed it the most, and eventually Columbiana's offense broke through. They were slowly but surely kind of causing pressure, but then not being able to capitalize. Matty Zines did a good job holding him, keeping your team in the game. And then in the 6th inning, the dams kind of broke. And Columbiana had a big 6th inning to walk it off and run rule the Eagles 10-0. But very competitive 10-0 game, and a game that United had plenty of opportunities to really be in and be competitive in. Timely hitting. Just got to get those timely hits. Let's go over the stats from this game. Both Caitlin Pleska and Mackenzie Gamble both hit home runs. And honestly, Caitlin Pleska came dang close of hitting a couple of more. 2 more balls that were hit to the fence. So she was 2 for 4 with the home run, 3 RBI, 2 runs scored. Mackenzie Gamble was 2 for 4 with the home run, 2 RBI, and a run scored. Cam Perkins had a heck of a day at the plate, 3 for 4 with her day, 2 RBI, 2 runs scored. Ava Devanzo was 2 for 3 with 2 RBI and a run scored. And then 1 RBI at the bottom of the order from Elena Johnson, the 8 hitter. She went 2 for 3 with an RBI. Marin Hepler had a leadoff double, came around to score, but then they held her in check the rest of the day. She was 1 for 4. On the United side, they had a perfect day at the plate from Maddie Lucas. She went 3 for 3, was not retired. Jocelyn Irie went 1 for 2. Chloe Angelo went 1 for 2. And Brinsley Hiscox went 1 for 2 as well. So that was the lineup for United. They were able to only work 1 walk, and it was Irie who walked once. Gamble in the circle, 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, no earned runs, 7 strikeouts, 1 walk. And then Zines in the circle went 6 1/3, gave up 14 hits, 7 earned runs, struck out 1. But like I said, a lot of those runs came in the final inning. 4 runs in the 6th to walk it off. So that does it for our kind of recap of last night. We talked over some of the big games. Obviously, we recapped. Keep saying odd last 2 days. Driving me nuts. I don't know if it's been unconscious that I've been saying it a lot all the time, but you guys ever kind of notice when you're saying something a lot and then it's driving you crazy because you can't stop now? That's happened to me like the last 2 days. Every time I say the word obviously, I realize it and I go, what am I doing? It's like every time. Struggle bus today, but we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Everything is all right. We go into a commercial break. When we come back, we will get the player profile from Boardman Girls Lacrosse. We have Lacey Dre on tap for you after this commercial break, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology, from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown, top right-hand corner of the screen right there. You can see them. Made the decision in the commercial break that we're just going to tally every time I say obviously for the rest of the week and see where it's at. I'm going to roast myself, put myself on blast a little bit because, whew, that one counts too. So that's one. Man, that's fun. So let's get on to the player profile from Boardman Lacrosse, as promised before that commercial break. Lacey Dre, another one of their captains. We have talked to all three of them. We have played Jasmine Graham yesterday, and we're going to play Lacey Dre here today. So second of three captains for Boardman Girls Lacrosse. I hope you enjoy this interview, which is also brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Anthony Hartwig here with another Boardman Lacrosse, Girls Lacrosse player profile. We are joined by another senior, Lacey Dre. Lacey, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
Senior year, it's your last go around. What have been the emotional, what's it been like dealing with the emotions that senior year can bring you?
It's definitely been rough, especially with sports, like realizing that I have to leave my teammates and all my friends behind. And then like just realizing that like this is the end and I'm moving away from home. It's hard.
When you get reflective for senior year and you start to think about your favorite memories that you've had, not just with your sports, but also in the school system, what memories come to mind for you?
I think of like just all the times that I've spent with my friends, like around hanging out with them, and like especially with like all the activities I do at Big Spartan, Little Spartan, like those kids, thinking about like how they're gonna like take my space in a few years.
With the Big Spartan, Little Spartan, and being involved in that, how much does that help you flex your leadership skills, not just with that, but also on the lacrosse field as a senior?
They help me realize like what I need to do. Like they take a lot of patience. So I think when I'm with them, my patience grows stronger each time. And then that draws onto the lacrosse field as well.
How would you define yourself as a leader if you had to kind of, explain your leadership qualities? What would you say?
I would say that I'm pretty determined to help everybody out and positive and strong, I think.
when we ask, future leaders of this team, maybe next year we get a lacrosse player on. If we ask them what kind of impact you being on their teammates and you had on them in the year before, what would you hope their answer would be?
I hope they would say that I was like a role model for them and their lacrosse journey.
Let's talk about your lacrosse journey. When did you start this sport? When did you fall in love with it and obviously put so much time into it?
I started when I was in the 7th grade, I believe. And I started, we did a day in gym class where we just focused on lacrosse. And ever since that day, I just completely fell in love with it. And I went home and I told my mom that like I needed to be on the youth team. And then we looked into it and I started. And ever since, like, my love just grew so much stronger.
What was it about it that got you? I mean, what was the thing that you obviously playing it in gym? What was it about lacrosse that this is the sport that stuck and this is the sport that I wanted to play?
I think just like having the ability to, I never did a sport where like it was like running and like with the stick and stuff like that, because I always just did swim. So I think like having the idea of a ball and a stick and being able to run around the field and have fun with people that I knew would be my friends was appealing to me.
You were a part of a very successful swim team, especially this year. What did that success? How did that help you bring that mindset into lacrosse? That successful mindset.
My coaches drill it into me at swim. They like, we stay humble, but we work hard, and we're only successful because we work hard. So I knew that if I wanted to be successful at lacrosse, that I just needed to work as hard as I could.
Yeah, we talked to the swim team. We talked to some of the members, and man, the conditioning and the work that you guys put in. I don't think other sports understand what it means to be a swimmer. When you go from that and you go right into a lacrosse season, what's that like, the transition between swim and lacrosse?
It can be rough, but it's also relieving because I get a lot more off time with lacrosse and I feel a lot more rested than I do when I'm swimming. So
as a senior, you start to think about life after high school and what it's going to be like. Talk about your future plans and things that you see for yourself after you graduate, Boardman.
After I graduate, I'm going to attend Walsh University and I'm majoring in education, childhood education, with a minor in special education. And I just hope that like I can make a difference in lives of children.
Okay, a couple follow-ups to that. One, why Walsh? What was it about the Walsh campus or the programs that you saw that made you want to go there? And then what got you on that career path? What made you interested in child education with a specialty in special education?
I chose Walsh because I have a few friends that go there and they absolutely love it. So then when they were talking to me about it and they were like, you should tour it. So I did, and everything about the campus, it was beautiful there and everybody was so nice. And I knew I could see myself being there. And then
okay. Next question. I'm sorry. Answer the next one. I jumped the gun.
And then what got me into education was my sister majored in education when she was in college. And I was very young. I was like 5, and seeing her in that, I picked up on it, and then I steered away from it into like middle school. And then my freshman year, I started working at Boardman Swim Club. So I'm with kids all the time and I love them. And I just knew that I would be happy if I was a teacher.
All right. So be honest, did the Sonic Drive-In right next to Walsh, did that help that decision at all?
I would say it was more so the Starbucks.
Oh, the Starbucks. Okay, well, that's good too. But I'm a fan of Sonic. When we talk about the things that you're going to miss the most about Boardman, what are you going to miss the most about this community and being a part of it?
I think I'm going to miss all of the people. They're all amazing, and it's definitely hard to leave it. My family's here, so that's going to be really hard for me.
All right, just like every player profile, we want to give you the time to take the spotlight off yourself for a minute and shine it on your support system and the people that have been there for you. Want to give you the time to give as many thanks out as you want.
Okay. I could thank so many people, but I'll start with my mom and my dad. They are there for me more than anybody could ever be there for me. They show up to every game, every swim meet, no matter what the circumstances are. They're there. And then my sister, she'll come to as many as she can. And my brother always pushes me to be he wants me to be the best. He compares me to himself, which definitely drives me to be great. And then all my friends and my teammates that have pushed me and got me where I am today, I could not do it without them. And especially my coaches from swim and lacrosse teaching me what it's like to be humble and a hard worker.
All right, Lacey, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. We appreciate it a lot. We wish you the best of luck the rest of the senior season, and we can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.
That was Lacey Dre from Boardman Girls Lacrosse, another captain, and we will play the third one later on this week as well. So if you're waiting for that last captain of the lacrosse team, don't worry, we got her. We'll get it to her. We'll get you to it and have some more fun. Right now, though, we're going to go back on the scoreboard brought to you by Burnett Pool, Spas, and Hot Tubs and see what's going on tonight across the Ysn family. Here's what we got. Baseball, you have Beaver hosting Blackhawk. You have Jefferson and Madison in Game 2 of that series. You have Mohawk playing Chenango again, Game 2 of their series with them. Grand Valley and Wickliffe squaring off. You have Fitch and Howland playing another AAC matchup there. Boardman travels to South Range. Brookfield goes to Garrettsville Garfield. Badger hosting Cheney. We see Ashtabula Lakeside hosting Conneaut tonight. Edison traveling to Heartland Christian. Louisville will be hosting North Canton Hoover. Hubbard goes to Poland to try to sweep the Bulldogs in 88. Jackson Milton goes to Springfield. LeBray goes to Crestview, and Lakeview goes to Struthers. Liberty making the trip to Camel, and then Lowville to McDonald. Maplewood to Pymatuning Valley. Middle Ridge travels to Western Reserve to try to get that sweep. Newton Falls will try to sweep the Flashes on the road in Champion. Niles going to Girard. Rootstown going to Warren JFK for Game 2. Harding versus Canfield, Game 2. The rivalry between West Branch and Salem going on tonight in Salem. And then Hoban hosting St. Ignatius. On the softball side of things, we see Mohawk. They host Hopewell. Grand Valley hosting Lakeside. Austintown Fitch will travel to Howland. Same with Hubbard traveling to Poland. Both those teams going for a sweep. And Jackson Milton also going for a sweep as they go to Springfield. LeBray and Crestview played twice last night, so that series should be done. Lakeview going to Struthers. Liberty traveling to Camel. Lowville will be at McDonald tonight. Maplewood going to Pymatuning Valley. Marlington making the trip to Salem. Game 2 between Western Reserve and Middle Ridge, this time happening in Berlin Center. Niles going to Girard. Boardman gets back to action as they will host Riverside. That is a game that happens every year, a good relationship between the Beavers and the Spartans. Warren Harding goes to Canfield for Game 2 of that series. Beaver Local will host Wellsville. And last but not least, South Range travels to Ursuline. Let's go over the games that will be on the network tonight and what broadcasters will have you covered. When it comes to baseball, we have 7 games on the network tonight. We'll have Eric Hughes at Mohawk covering them against Chenango. DJ Oakley will be at South Range for Boardman and South Range. Cooper Chavone will be in Struthers in Scene 1. Scene 2. Scene 3. I'm wrong. Yeah, there's only 3 fields. I said them all. Cooper will be at Scene 3 as Lakeview plays Struthers. Steve Hodge will be at Camel, Scene 1, as they will play Liberty. Matt Marr going to Girard for Niles Girard. And then Derek Rhodes will have you covered for Salem and West Branch. Louisville and Hoover will also be on the network tonight. I will be at Western Reserve for their matchup with Middle Ridge. It's going to be the only softball game on the network tonight. Make sure to check out all the games at ysnlive.com/live and enjoy the night of baseball and softball. That is going to do it for today's episode of Running Point. We want to thank you guys so much for tuning in like you do every day. You get to, well, I don't know why you let one to spend your lunch hour with the Giacomo that says, obviously 500 times in a broadcast. But obviously you do. You see that? That's a 3. That's 3. 3 on the count. We're counting. We're going to count them up at the end of the week. We'll come back and see how many times I say that word. I'm not giving you a fourth one. We'll be back tomorrow with Scotty Mincher running Wednesdays. We'll be back tomorrow as well, episode 3, and we'll have some fun. We'll also recap the action from tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in again. We will be back tomorrow. Like I said, Running Point, always brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood